Okay, Eoghan Corry, editor of Air and Travel magazine. It seems quite extraordinary that a state-owned body, the Dublin Airport Authority, could be deliberately flouting the very permission that it was given to operate as part of the legal planning process. What possible excuse can the DAA offer for itself?
Okay, Matt, I'm not here to speak for DA. I'm here to bring some sort of analysis to the situation. But noise is a big international issue, and we've seen airports impose restrictions. Amsterdam would be a good example. From the DA's point of view, I think you're two things here. You said it was agreed. They've actually been contesting this. Two very important figures here. 7 years this has been raised and hasn't been resolved, and now they've been given 6 weeks to comply with this order, which they're disputing. The second thing is it is unrelated to the North Runway, which is a separate series of complaints that Alan is dealing with. The North Runway is not used at all by night. What we've seen happen, and to answer your question, how did they end up exceeding this, is that Dublin airports could become busier, and they've strayed into that nighttime, those night hours. It doesn't really affect the vast majority of traffic for passengers. What it does affect is a bank of late flights arriving back from the Canary Islands. It affects some of those early morning ones, particularly the USA ones, if the wind is behind them. But where it really is a crunch point for the airport and where they're under real pressure is in cargo, because cargo moves at night, passengers move by day, and we've seen the Irish economy make this demand for air cargo. And I suspect, to answer your question, how did we end up exceeding the number of flights? The pressure is on to provide more capacity than the airport can do by day, and they have been shouting about this for 7 years. Bord Planola not really resourced enough to handle the appeals process. What we've seen is probably Fingal County Council saying we've got to do something, BC to do something here, and we now have in the middle of this very busy period. Sunday is going to be the busiest day at the airport of the year. We now have a 6 weeks compliance order, not ideal from anybody's point of view, and especially from the airports.
Oh, and there's a lot of listeners texting in to say, well, if there's a capacity issue at Dublin Airport, why not reroute the flights to the lesser used Cork and Shannon airports?
It's a really, really good point, Matt. Dublin, straining, and the residents complaining, and Shannon with their tongue hanging out. They have this amazing runway capacity, historic runway capacity in Shannon. If we had a high-speed network that you could get those 30 million passengers that come in and out of Dublin Airport a year down quickly to Shannon, which only has 2 million using it every year, with all that capacity, it would probably solve the problem overnight. The thing is, that could be a good long-term solution, and I suspect the politicians of Ireland, some of the more vociferous ones from west of the Shannon especially, would be very pleased with that. In the meantime, we do have an obvious solution, which is right in front of everybody's nose, and that is what Alan brought up about, instead of going by numbers of flights, which is a real 1950s way of measuring things, do it by noise quota. That's what airports are doing around the world: Sydney, Amsterdam, New York, everywhere there are residents complaining, and it seems to work, and it would really suit the Irish situation for this reason, Matt. Our two airlines, Ryanair and Aer Lingus, more than 80% of us fly on those to and from the island. They have two of the most modern fleets in the world. They've got the most modern additions, where noise is 20-25% lower than would have been the case in the old days of the 737-300 or the first Airbuses. So there is an instant solution in front of us if we could get people around the table to solve it. The real problem is there seems to be an issue where everybody's issued these regulations and now gone on holidays. Getting anything solved in August takes longer than it does to solve the same problem in February.
Eoghan Corry, editor of Air and Travel magazine.